What if you could get anyone, your boss, your crush, even a total stranger, to open up without them ever realizing they're being led? Not through manipulation, but through silence, timing, and one invisible psychological trigger most people ignore. This isn't fiction. It's a real technique used by spies, therapists, and elite negotiators. And today, you're about to learn the exact method. So subtle they'll think they chose to talk. We've all been there. You're trying to connect, to understand someone, or get honest answers, but they shut down. Maybe they're guarded. Maybe they don't trust you. Or maybe they don't even trust themselves enough to speak the truth. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Most people want to talk but fear judgment, rejection, or exposure. So they stay silent. But what if you could create a psychological safe zone so powerful their guard drops on its own? This isn't about charm or flattery. In fact, the more you try to get someone to talk, the more they resist, because the human brain is wired to detect pressure, and pressure, threat. But there's a counterintuitive secret. The less you ask, the more they reveal. Back in the 1970s, FBI negotiators noticed something strange during hostage situations. When agents stopped interrogating and just listened, with a specific kind of silence, the suspects would volunteer critical information. Not because they were broken, but because they finally felt seen. This technique was refined into what psychologists now call passive elicitation. And it's far more powerful than direct questioning. Why? Because it bypasses the brain's defense system entirely. You're not extracting, you're inviting. And that tiny shift changes everything. But how do you actually do it? Especially in everyday life, without looking weird, awkward, or suspicious. That's where the real magic begins. The core of this technique rests on 3 invisible triggers, all rooted in how the brain processes safety, attention, and reciprocity. Trigger number 1, the power of the pause. Most people rush to fill silence, but silence isn't empty, it's loaded. When you stop talking after someone gives a short answer, their brain panics slightly. Did I say enough? Are they confused, bored? And to relieve that tension, they add more. Often the real truth comes in that second wave. Try this. Nod slowly after they speak. Hold eye contact. Say nothing for 2 to 3 full seconds. Watch them lean in and spill. Trigger number 2, the echo effect. Repeat the last few words. They said, but as a gentle, curious statement, not a question. Example, them. I've been really stressed lately. You. Stressed lately. Their brain hears validation, not interrogation, and instinctively elaborates to justify their feeling. It's called mirroring, and it's used by CIA interrogators to build instant rapport. Trigger number 3, the vulnerability anchor. People only open up when they feel safe, and safety is built through your openness, not theirs. Share a tiny, relatable vulnerability first. I used to overthink every conversation, or I've been feeling kinda lost too. This triggers the brain's reciprocity reflex. They feel compelled to match your honesty. Not because you asked, but because their social wiring demands balance. Now here's the dark twist. These same techniques are used by con artists, cult leaders, and emotional predators. They create false intimacy to extract secrets, money, or loyalty. That's why intent matters. This isn't about control, it's about connection. Used ethically, passive elicitation builds trust, heals relationships, and uncovers truth without force. But there's one final layer, one that even most psychologists don't talk about. The darkest revelation? Your silence doesn't just make people talk, it makes them believe. The thoughts they're sharing are their own idea. That's the ultimate illusion of free will. When you don't prompt, don't lead, don't even look like you're fishing, they assume their confession, their insight, their emotional breakthrough came from within. In reality, you shaped the space where it had to emerge. This is called cognitive ownership, and it's why therapy works. A good therapist rarely gives answers. They create a room so psychologically safe, the client discovers the truth themselves and clings to it harder than if it was handed to them. But here, what is chilling, people will defend a belief more fiercely if they think they arrived at it alone, even if you quietly engineered the entire journey. This is how marketers plant desires, how politicians shift opinions, how toxic partners rewrite your reality. You're not being tricked in the obvious sense. You're being guided through the architecture of your own mind by someone who understands its hidden doors. And the scariest part? You've probably used it yourself without even knowing. So, how do you use this power responsibly? First, never use it to extract secrets, manipulate decisions, or exploit vulnerability. That's not influence, that's violation. Use it to heal, to understand your partner when they're distant, to help a friend process grief, to create space for someone to find their own truth, without pressure, without judgment. Second, protect yourself. If someone always gets you talking but rarely shares themselves, if conversations leave you feeling drained or exposed, that's not connection, that's extraction. Walk away. Third, master the pause in your own life. Before reacting, before defending, before asking, just breathe. Let silence work. You'll be amazed what surfaces. This technique isn't about control. It's about awareness of your power, your impact, and the invisible currents running beneath every conversation. And here's the ultimate takeaway. The deepest truths aren't pulled out. They rise up when you stop pulling. So next time someone shuts down, don't push. Lean back, breathe, and give their truth the space it needs to find you. Now I leave you with this. In a world full of noise, are you creating space for real connection or just waiting for your turn to speak? If this opened your eyes, hit like, share with someone who needs to hear this, and comment below. What is something you only ever told someone because they gave you the silence to say it? Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all.